Coming up, is the Bahamas ready for an Ebola outbreak?
Some Bahamians are weighing in on a controversial remark made by a Haitian Bahamian in last night's newscast. Find out what they have to say coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, health officials have mobilized an all-out fight against the Ebola virus, which is a serious concern to authorities due to the high volume of travelers to our islands. A task force was set up in the office of the Prime Minister. And during an address to the nation last night, health officials say they will leave no stone unturned as all agencies have been engaged and a stringent system of readiness is now in full gear for Ebola. Charisma Robinson reports.
As public unease rise over the possibility of the deadly Ebola virus spreading here, top health officials remain confident in the ability of this country's healthcare system to combat this deadly virus. During a national address live on the ZNS Network Friday night, Chief Medical Officer in the Public Hospitals Authority, Dr. Glenn Benaby, said health officials have moved aggressively with all agencies of government to prepare for any potential Ebola in this country.
And we shall be doing all in our power on an ongoing basis to be updated from the global healthcare community, to speak with our partners in the region, and to address this serious issue head on. We are depending on the Bahamian people to take full control of their situation, to not panic, to remain calm, and to communicate with each other in communities and throughout the Bahamas. We realize the importance of this to our country and to tourism, and indeed, more importantly, to the safety of the public.
Fears over the disease are on the rise as 2 nurses tested positive after caring for a patient in Dallas who died. Here at home, the officials say nurses are being trained around the clock to prevent a similar case. They have also identified 2 locations within the Princess Margaret Hospital and the public sector to quarantine someone suspected with Ebola.
And we, as Dr. Benaby would have alluded to, are in possession of the protective equipment that is necessary. In addition to that, we have been training staff, and that training is ongoing. We want persons to be as comfortable as possible, and a part of the training is that they actually get to put the equipment on and take it off, and to realize this is the procedure, how to put it on. We call it donning and then removal, and it's important that you do it in the right sequence. And so healthcare workers, this is something that we do, and it's something that's called contact precautions. And we're taking it to the nth degree, and that's what it's all about, to stay safe.
Dr. Benaby and his team faced some tough questions Friday night on hospital protocols and travel restrictions. However, as of right now, they are opposed to any travel restrictions or even closing this country's ports of entry, even though some other countries have done so.
What we have decided to do is increase the awareness of our workers at ports, to have protocols specific to what should happen at our ports. If in our determination it becomes necessary to make that major step, it will be made.
In the coming days, health officials will step up their training and education, and the public will also begin to see a massive campaign over the ZNS network outlining detailed practical measures to protect against the Ebola virus. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
More unfolding on the status of Haitian migrants in the Bahamas. Last night we told you of a shanty town that was demolished in the Joe Farrington Road area by the landowners. This decision left residents upset and angry. But it was one comment made in particular by a young Haitian Bahamian that left some Bahamians simply outraged. Siasker Adderley has this report.
They gotta understand, but it's more Haitian Bahamian in this country than Bahamians. Sorry for my language. You see how he said? And we ain't scared. They ain't want to start something where they ain't gonna finish. But
It was that very statement that created a firestorm on social media, prompting hundreds of Bahamians to share their extreme displeasure. On Friday, a shanty town just off Joe Farrington Road was demolished, more than a year after the residents were given a 30-day notice, but still those residents remained on the property. On Saturday, our news team took to the streets to get Bahamians' reaction to this controversial comment. To say the least, the residents we spoke to were extremely upset, saying that something must be done because the country's immigration problem is out of hand.
I was really upset when I heard the news last night. Very highly upset. This is our Bahamian country, and I think foreigners who come here ought to respect our country. And I think what was said last night was in poor taste. I think we really need to do something about them and stop them before they get, too boisterous in our country.
It's an actual act of, I guess, a war, or wanting to start a war, saying that, hey, at any time, we can have an uprising in your country. That's like someone coming in your home, going into your bedroom, and then telling you what you can do in there, and not to tell them anything. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how do they feel that's even going to make sense.
But there was one resident who strongly disagreed, calling on Bahamians to be more understanding.
We were all illegal immigrants as far as I'm concerned. We became nationalized because of slavery. Yes? And so when I see the Haitian, as far as I'm concerned, my great-great-grandparents or some relative or family, whether it's Haiti, whether it's St. Kitts, whether it's Jamaica, wherever it is in this world, those people can very well be some of my relatives. Do you understand? So I think that in an effort the church needs to step in. We need to try and understand each other more. Do you understand? These are people who are impoverished, who are running away, trying to have a better life. The Bahamians do not understand poverty. When you get the majority of people in this country without, then we will begin to understand poverty.
Meantime, immigration officials are expected to address the matter during a press conference sometime tomorrow. Siaska Adderley, ZNS Network News.
A veteran Bahamian diver dies while on an expedition with an American couple off Andros. Police tell us officers in Andros are investigating the death of a 53-year-old man of Morgan's Bluff, Andros. Shortly after 10:30 yesterday morning, the victim along with the visiting male and female were on a diving trip in waters off Morgan's Bluff when the Bahamian diver apparently lost consciousness. Attempts to resuscitate the diver failed. He was taken to shore and transported to the local clinic where he was pronounced dead by the island's local doctor shortly after 11 a.m. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Bahamians along with thousands in Bermuda now without power supply and battling impassable streets today after Hurricane Gonzalo roared through the island, flattening trees and power lines. This is the second time Bermuda was slammed by a powerful storm in less than a week. As of 9 o'clock this morning, power had been restored to some customers, leaving close to 29,000 without power. Governor of Bermuda George Ferguson said the police reported no deaths or serious injuries, and while damage was extensive, it was not catastrophic. Bahamian manager with Price Waterhouse in Bermuda, Karen Seymour, provides us with an update.
The eye passed us over about maybe 8:30 last night, and then after that the wind definitely picked up. It was a much stronger, fiercer storm after the eye passed over, but thankfully, we still didn't lose. As far as we've heard so far, no lives have been lost. So that is a good thing, and we're all just so thankful and happy. Some people are reporting damages to boats. I know some people at our office, a few people lost boats. And there's some trees down, but the cleanup, has continued. But the boats that go out for entertainment, like cruises, mini cruises, one of those were damaged during the storm. It went up on the rocks. But outside of that, people are just waiting for their power to come back up. Right now, I think they're still at maybe 70 to 80% of the population is still without power.
In other news this evening, some 30 companies have signed up so far for the new value-added tax system. While the process continues, hotel operators, representatives from tourism attractions, restaurants, and dive operators are expanding their knowledge of the new tax system and are in full preparation mode. The Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association and Ministry of Finance hosted the training and readiness seminar this week to ensure that everyone is on the target for the 7.5% tax. The association's executive director, Suzanne Patouche, says they will be ready, but outlines some specific concerns that are still outstanding.
There are still a number of aspects related to how the VAT is applied to promotional marketing, and that has been addressed actually with the Ministry of Finance, just to ensure that we stay competitive. Some of the questions that are asked pertain to how they deal with third-party on-sellers, etc. We still have a number of items to deal with respect to how the casinos are treated, whether or not promotion board levies are vatable, etc. So there's a number of aspects that from a policy decision we're still working on, but in terms of how the businesses operate, you know, they're also asking aspects that are completely pertinent to how they conduct business.
And still to come, thousands sampled tasty treats at the International Food Fest. That story and more when the Bahamas Tonight Weekend Edition continues.